Hey guys, welcome back to Frank Fast Forward. My name's Frank, and on this channel, it's all about finding your purpose through sales and business mastery. So we get into all topics related to sales, business, and when I say business, it's mostly B2B, so selling to other businesses. If you look around in the world, basically everything needs to be sold. Airplanes need to be sold, trains need to be sold, roads need to be sold. So pretty much any product, someone sold it, right? So today I wanted to talk a little bit about your inner mindset that you want to have going into a sales call and dealing with customers. And what I'm going to focus on is really how to think and how to frame the conversation in a way where you're not giving away too much power to the customer, and you're basically establishing yourself as high value and your company is having a lot of value as well as your product. And you want to position it in a way that the customer is almost looking up to you and you're helping them rather than you're looking up to them and they're helping you by buying the product, right? So I'm going to talk about 3 specific behaviors and ways that people give away power in the sales call. Sometimes these are called power leaks. They can be called a lot of different things, frame, positioning, but basically it's the way you're interacting and talking. And it comes from the tone you're using, the type of words you're using, your behavior, your presence, basically everything wrapped together. So the first one is going to be uptalk. So uptalk is really when you end the conversation going up, almost like a question. So when you go into a customer and you ask them, how are you doing today? Or my name is Frank and I'm with company XYZ. It's almost like if you're asking for permission to continue, and it's almost like, hey, I don't know if this is okay, so I'm asking. You don't want to talk like that. You want to talk direct and almost downward. You always want to bring the energy down. Especially a lot of customers, they're going to come to you and they're going to try to raise the energy level because a lot of times they have a problem and they're looking to get it solved and they're not sure if you're the person for it. So what they want to do is sort of raise the energy level, raise the temperature level, sometimes it's called, and see if you waver, see if you can deal with that, can deal with the pressure. So person who can deal with the most tension and the most pressure generally in any interaction will be the winner, or will be the person with the most power in that interaction. So when you go into these sales calls, if you think about your sentences and your tonality and the way you are talking, you want to avoid this uptalk, this sort of like question mark type of behavior. So you want to make direct statements, especially about your product, about your company. You never want to end with this sort of like upwards inflection. So the second key behavior that you want to stay away from is asking for permission. So a lot of salespeople, especially newer reps, what they'll do is they'll ask if certain things are okay. Is it okay if I show you the product now? Is it okay if I sit here? Is it okay if I da-da-da-da? When you do that, what you're doing is you're inferring that you need to be granted permission to do these things. Whereas someone who's high level, executive level, maybe a high value executive type person like the CEO, they're not going to ask for permission to sit in the chair. It's just a chair. No one else is sitting in it, right? Just go and sit down. Make yourself comfortable. Spread out a little. Make a little bit of room. Move some things on the table away from you so you have your own area. You don't want to be all like cramped up into a little spot with like your cup of water and your computer and your piece of paper, and you're all like crouched in. You want to make some space, and you want to sort of establish your presence as sort of the field of play, right? This is your court, and this is your area. So that's really the second one, is asking for permission. You never want to ask for permission from the customer, especially if it's something like that's super like doesn't matter, like asking if you can sit in the chair, or asking if you can borrow a pencil, or just grab the pencil if it's there and start writing. So that's the second one, asking for permission. The third behavior, and what this all stems from, is really like a needy or scarcity mindset. So you wanna go in with a mindset of abundance and not of scarcity. You wanna make it seem like you have all the answers, you have all the products, you have all the solutions. It really doesn't matter the situation, because you have it figured out. You're cool, you're calm, you got everything taken care of. So the third one is being too agreeable with the customer. And where this crops up a lot is when the customer starts asking for specific customizations or add-ons or things about the product that aren't like initially in the pitch. So they'll say, oh, does the product do this? Does it do that? Does it come in blue? Does it come in black? Can you change the connector? Can you change the plug? Can you do like a custom wire length? All these different things are possible, right? But within a big organization, it can really be expensive to start taking all sorts of like custom orders, and especially when it's not a big customer and they're not talking serious volume. So what a lot of salespeople will do is they'll go in and they'll just agree with the customer. Sure, we can do that. Yes, we can do that. Of course, the product does that. And what happens is they're becoming a yes man, and they're saying yes so many times that they don't even know what exactly their selling is. There's the more you agree to the customer, and the more you sort of acquiesce to their demands, your product, which was a very specific thing, like a very specific instrument or gadget or widget, whatever you're selling, it had specs, it had a very clear purpose. Now that the customer has asked for so many different things and you've said yes to all of them, all of a sudden the product becomes blurry. It becomes an amorphous blob, and yeah, maybe it's a sensor and it has a range of 100 meters or 100 feet, and you say it can do 200 feet. Well, it really can't do that, or maybe it can do it in optimum conditions. So what happens is the customer starts to lose trust with you, which it doesn't make sense if you think about it initially, because you just agreed to them, you told them exactly what they want to hear. So how did they lose trust? The reason is they can see that the product you're selling is not a specific product. It's an amorphous blob which can be changed with very little commitment from the customer. So if they ask for a longer length cable or something, sure, we can do that. It's okay if you're like a custom job shop and that's your business and you sell cables and different lengths, whatever. But if you're selling a very specific product, you want to be on your square. You do not want to move off your square for any reason. So it's okay to tell the customer no, especially when they start doing this feature creep question asking where they want it to do more and more and more, and it doesn't really do that. So what you want to do in those situations is take those questions back to management, take those questions back to engineering, and say, hey, this customer wanted this feature and this other customer also wanted the same feature. So maybe this is something that we can add to the product. We can make like a gold version or some sort of upgrade where the customer can pay more money and they have the standard version, or they can buy the standard plus version or the gold version or like the next package up. So you really don't want to be too agreeable with the customer. Don't be scared to tell the customer no. When you do that, and when you're firm with the customer, you're building your value and telling them that, hey, they can take it or leave it. And when you come into the meeting with that sort of attitude, it means that you have other customers and you're not solely reliant on them. So if you're solely reliant on this one customer, you'll tell them anything, you'll do anything. And what happens is the customer loses trust and they feel unsafe with going with you, with going with your company. They think, wow, if I don't buy from this company, they might go out of business. Or if I do buy and this salesperson has this super needy attitude, I might be their only customer, and that puts me in a risky situation. So it's all about sort of, for the customer, is removing risk and not picking a product that is untested in the market or new or on kind of shaky ground. So these are all the things that the customer is thinking about in their head that you want to think about at the same time when you're doing your pitch. The fourth behavior is going to be sending multiple emails asking for follow-up, checking in, touching base. You do not want to do that more than once. If you start doing that 2, 3, 4 times, and I get these emails all of the time, I don't even read them anymore, because first of all, what are you touching base on? I don't even really remember you. It was so long ago. I'm obviously not interested, because if I was, I would have bought it already. And third is, you really don't have any better way to spend your time other than just emailing me over and over and over. So you really want to avoid these like multiple emails in a row. Same thing with like voicemail or text. You don't want to like use all of these mediums: voicemail, text, email. You're messaging them on LinkedIn. If they want the product, if they saw something of value, they'll let you know. They'll get back to you. So what you want to do in these situations is move on to a different customer. You don't want to spend all of your time on like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 customers, even if it's a late stage, even if you had the feeling, even if they said there was budget and that they were going to buy. You want to just keep it moving, keep it hustling. It's just like dating, where you don't want to send the double text because it reveals your neediness and your scarcity mindset. So just don't do it. All right, guys, these were 4 specific behaviors in the sales call to help you keep your value high. And what this does is builds value in the product, builds value in the company. And when it comes down to purchasing and they're ready to actually buy, they're not going to ask for big discounts. You're going to be able to sell at high margin and collect those profits. All right, guys, be sure to check out my other videos. I have a really good one on the golden sales call, the 5 steps to execute a fantastic sales call. That one's going to be great to check out. And then I have all sorts of other videos on sales and business mastery. So check back later for some more videos, and I'll see you on the next one.